Good morning, all you Yazzers out there. Happy Sunday to you. I'm coming from sunny Los Angeles, California, where I'm looking at palm trees off in the distance. I wanted to introduce myself. My name is Angelo Dagostino, and I am one of your judges for Challenge 1 of MKYAS this year. And I wanted to say thank you to Audrey for asking me to judge, but also for organizing this amazing event, which I believe is changing the face of ice skating as we know it. I think there's an importance right now into emphasizing on beautiful skating and choreography because we've drifted away from it, and I want to make sure that we go back to it. So I hope that this is my part and you all have done your part, which is wonderful. I commend you. I want to give you a little introduction about myself. My name is Angelo Dagostino, and I am a choreographer and cast installer. I work for Willie B-Tech Company, and I work on board cruise ships where I get to work with some of the best skaters in the world, and we put together beautiful ice shows at sea. I've been doing choreography for a very long time. I actually was a skater for the B-Tech Company probably 25 years ago. Choreography's always been my thing. I've loved it. So I'm excited to see other people excited about choreography because it excites me. Anyhow, I wanted to say, Audrey, great job on picking the hardest, I believe, one of the hardest on Challenge 1. I think anything that has to do with partnering, I'm sure you all experienced it, was like, oh my God, partnering, it's not as easy as it looks. And the people that do it really well make it look really easy, but it's not easy. And it's especially not easy when you're choreographing. It's not my strength, but I've had to learn how to make it a strength. But the process getting there, it is a process. Some of you guys got there fairly easy. Some of you guys didn't quite get there. So anyhow, well, with that being said, let me get to our critiques, okay? All right, I've tried to figure out how I wanted to do this in order. So what I've decided to do is from the least amount of stars up to the top amount of stars. So that means I will start with the lowest score today. And Allison, you were I gave you 1 star for your number. Like I just said, partnering is very, very difficult, and making it look seamless and smooth and elegant is very difficult. Your number about the spies and living in each other's shadows and everything, I kind of got the concept, and of course then the connection to the Adele song, which was from a James Bond movie, so I got that. That was very obvious to me. The thing I wanted to say to you was that the program itself just didn't have a lot of ice coverage, and I think that that is actually what we're here to see. We're here to see ice skating. We're here to see movement. You know, the challenge Stuck on You meant we were supposed to be entwined with the other person, which definitely makes it harder to do that while moving. But that is part of the challenge, would be how could you get that accomplished? How could you have some interesting shapes while you're gliding across the ice? And I thought that a lot of your stuff had minimal amount of movement. So in your future challenges, just really be watching for your ice coverage, pay attention to direction of patterns around the ice. And I think in general, I wanted to see just a little bit more sophistication in the way that you move from one component to the next component. So in other words, your connecting moves and your segues. And again, that goes to hand holding and all the different types of ways in which you change positions. And obviously in this challenge, you wouldn't grab hands because that was one of the criteria. But it oftentimes you had a highlight and then it would clump. You'd break character and it would just drop out of a position or character, and then you would start up again and something else cool was going on. Like I liked you know, the pull-up spirals that you guys did in that tight little circle. I thought that was really cool, but I would have loved to have seen a nice bigger entrance into it and then maybe some sort of interesting transition out of it. I think more than anything what bothered me about it is that there was a little bit lacking some sophistication in the movement. Didn't have to be avant-garde or anything, but it just needed to be a little bit more, well, maybe just a little bit, maybe a little more mature, and that's what you're here to learn. You're learning how to be mature in your choreography. And definitely ice coverage was an issue for me. Also, just on a technical note, your movie editing, just be very conscious of that. You are being judged also on the way you package your program, and I felt like it was a little bit on the sloppy side, especially at the very end. So see if you can work on that for the next one, okay? So I give you 1 star. Okay, so next I wanted to talk about Kate. Kate, I gave you 2 stars for your program about the evil witch and all that was going on, the way you were sort of possessing and controlling your skater. I'm going to give it 2 stars because I felt like one of the things that I didn't see was a lot of crescendos, like there wasn't a lot of highs and lows at all. It was just very monotone. It stayed one level of emotion, but it also stayed only one level of speed and tempo. The music was a very steady, consistent beat also, but even when you have music like that, you can always work the underbeat, like an underlying rhythm, and then you can work the obvious boom, boom, boom. But I didn't feel like you were using both sides of that type of rhythm, and so therefore your program was monotone. It was all one note. So anyhow, I think just in the future, just see if you can change it up some. You know, especially if music is a very consistent beat throughout it. There's ways in which you can play with the tempo using the undertone versus the overtone. My favorite part of the program was when you guys did your bowers, the facing bowers towards each other. I liked also that I got that feel of like the way you were controlling her. It kind of made me think of like a hip-hop dance where they do these hits and the other one will contract as a result of. So I saw a little bit of that, which I kind of liked in there. And I actually liked the part where it looked like the victim actually started to fight back at the witch, which was kind of a change-up switch. Either that was my imagination or that's what you were intending, but that's what I saw. I liked that. So just watch on, again, I'm probably going to harp on everybody about the ice coverage, but just watch your ice coverage, make sure you fill up the ice, and this was a very difficult challenge for all the ways in which we were trying to get you guys to be entwined with each other. I saw a little bit of it. I would have liked to have seen more. So I give you 2 stars. Thanks, Kate. Okay, so next on my list is Sarah. I gave you 2 stars for your number that you put together with your sister, and I think what I wanted to say was that I thought that the music was. I mean, I got the concept. Stay with me. It was. It's nice that you're gonna have your sister with you. The whole thing. It almost was a little uncomfortable for me. I felt like that should have been skated with. More like two people who were romantically linked rather than family. So I felt like there was a mismatch in the music and the story. I would have probably had a different music choice if that's what you were going for. And definitely the people that had the boy-girl coupling in the event, definitely it was a lot more. There was a lot more ease of watching it. So. Not to say that the 2 of you couldn't have skated together, but I would have probably had a different music choice that would have been more relative to a sister-type environment. I think that's what you were going for. If not, I'm completely wrong, but it's just kind of one of the things that was awkward for me is I felt like that music should have been skated to by a boy and a girl, and it should have had much more of a romantic link together than a family link together. Anyhow, as far as the choreography goes, so that was more about concept, but as far as the choreography goes, it felt like you did a pretty good job there. The part, I'll tell you the part that I liked was in the middle section where you did the dip back and then you did the back walk over the, she walks over you. I liked very much the forward inside spiral to the right back outside spiral, so that was kind of like a Choctaw moment there. So yay, we used our moves in the field and edges, which is great. One of the things that bothered me a little bit was that all of the highlights, though, the parts that I really enjoyed, were done standing still. And I think that that's probably the hardest challenge, is to do intricate choreography and moving. A lot of times people get the intricacy down and it's interesting, but it's done standing still. So I want to just have you heads up on that for the future, see if you can get things moving a little bit better and not lose the intricacy. So I give you 2 stars for that, and good luck on your next challenge. Okay, so my next person I want to talk about is Heidi. Heidi, I gave you 3 stars for your program. I liked your program especially because of the way it had a very nice ice dance feel to it. I felt like there was fluidity, and I did feel like you were covering the ice. This was some of my criticisms about the ones before you, is that they weren't quite getting around the ice and making good ice coverage. But I felt that from you. I really felt the fluidness, which was really quite nice. Did it have the "I'm stuck on you" intertwining and entangling and all these unusual hand and body holds, not hand holds but body holds? Did I feel like it was really creative in that respect? It was a medium, so that's why I'm probably only giving you 3 stars. It was medium. I like very much that one pass where he dips you down, and then he's holding you sort of by the neck when he dips you down. So I thought that was really kind of nice, and I like the fact that it was something very difficult and intricate, and it was moving. So I thought that was good. You had really good line together, and I thought extension was good. So in terms of the technical skating, I mean that part, although we're not judging you on technique, but it definitely showed. So keep that up. Some of the other parts I liked was the knee slide section where you started off in one direction and then you flipped around and you went to backwards. I thought that was kind of cool. And I also liked that section where you traveled across the ice in sort of like almost like a flying sit spin position, and had a really nice exit off of it. I thought that was really nice. So I'm giving you 3 stars. It was somewhere in the middle for me, and keep up the good work. Definitely this is the harder challenge because of all the partnering and the hand holding. Keep listening and rereading the challenges, because every once in a while you can kind of get lost and you go back and you're like, oh God, it was stuck on you. So were you stuck on him? Did I see you stuck to him anytime? Like, were you all mingling around like that? It was nice, it was pleasant, but it could have been much more entangled or something. I don't know. So anyhow, but very good use of the ice. So 3 stars for you. Okay, so next I want to talk about Brianna. Brianna, thank you very much for your program. Love that song, Queen Bee, or Royal. I don't even know yeah, Queen Bee. I kind of got the whole tie into, there was something about fame, like being famous for your program was the theme, so I kind of saw that. I actually really enjoyed your program. I gave it 3 stars. I thought it had a really nice modern feel to it. A lot more of coming from more of a dance perspective, maybe even a little bit of a hip-hop and jazz. I like the parts where you're down on the ice rolling and the legs are flaring open. That was very good. I like when you stopped and then your knee pops open and you continued on from there. So in terms of some more of a modern feel to it, I thought that was really quite good. I think that the moves that you guys were doing were really quite good, and they looked very good side by side with each other. But again, did it really address the challenge stuck on you, which meant you would have been doing these moves and, somehow or another you would have been like wrapped around each other while you were doing it, and you weren't. You were just doing some really cool choreography that was mirroring each other as you were going, or imitating each other as you were going down the ice. So yes, it was modern. Yes, it was interesting, but was it according to the challenge? Was it stuck on you? And there were moments when you were, and then moments when you weren't. So careful not to stray away from the challenge, and fill with choreography. But the part that was, so my point is then that at the halfway point in your number, when the chorus came in and did that big cross under and the flare with the leg up, I thought that's when it started to get much more connected to your partner. And then the section in the middle where you sort of are doing the hockey soups around each other, I thought that's when the program really started to take off, and I felt like it started to meet the challenge criteria. So I would have liked to have seen a little bit more ice coverage and getting to skate a little bit more and flow a little bit more. it's always the hardest part about choreography is finding that balance between intricacy and movement. So I didn't feel like this program was flying across the ice. You know, like it stayed in a lot of little places, but the places where it did stay still and you were sort of enmeshed in each other, I did like it. It's just finding that perfect balance of movement across the ice and then movement amongst each other. So you can look at that for your upcoming other challenges, and hopefully you will find your groove. Anyhow, very nice job. 3 stars I gave you, okay? All right, so next I'm going to talk about Katie, your program with Jonathan. Hi, Jonathan. I haven't seen you in many years. Nice to see you on the ice again. Anyhow, Katie, I gave you 3 stars for your number. I'm sure you're going to hear it from everybody. You used a prop. Oh, well. You know, one of the things about MKYAS is paying attention to the criteria. So I won't even go into that, although I do have some notes about the prop. Anyhow, so I just judged your program as a whole. I didn't. I just gave it in the ranking of all the programs where I thought it stood. So I gave it 3 stars amongst the rest. I liked very much that you used black and white. I thought that was really cool. It created a nice mood and feel to it. So already you're going into that artist's mind, which I like. And it definitely stood out from the others for just being different. So yay for that. I think conceptually you're on the right track, and I felt like that the prop fit the characteristics of the program. Obviously, you guys were connected in this way, using this band, and it was almost like no matter where you go, you can, you're connected to that person. You're always connected to that person, and even though maybe there's times when you didn't wish you were, but you still are. You're always connected. It's a cord that we're connected with. The one thing I have to say, though, is when you, and I know I'm not supposed to talk about the prop, but unfortunately the prop, because of the way you bunched it up a lot of times and you rolled into it, it just was messy. And it actually took away then from your choreography, because your prop became an eyesore when it was bunched up and kind of hanging around. So, and again, I'm not supposed to talk about the prop because it really had nothing to do with the challenge, but it had an overall impact, a negative impact on your number, because there were times when you were doing beautiful things, and then there was times when you were doing beautiful things holding a bunched up piece of cord. So not so nice. You got 4 more challenges. The parts that I loved the most was I loved Jonathan's spread eagle as you were pulling him around in that big arcing circle. I thought that was really cool. I also liked very much the ending when you're on your knees doing a knee slide and he was coming around you then. So there were some cool moments in the number. And were you stuck on him? No, not really. You were kind of stuck on your prop. I'm sorry, but you were stuck on your prop. So anyhow, keep just keep paying attention to the challenges at hand, and just go back and read it. Go back and read it. Don't lose yourself in the creative process of coming up with something. You still have to just go back. And I know it's all interpretation, and we all interpret things differently. So, but anyhow, I thought that there was I did want to talk about that one section. I really enjoyed the middle section where you kind of it was almost like you're doing a pathway down the middle of the ice, and it had a lot of crosscuts, and then he picked you up, and so that part was really nice because it was very. That's where I felt like you guys were stuck on each other. You were intertwined, and when you had that distance with the band in between you, I didn't feel it. So. Anyhow, so I gave you 3 stars. I put you above some of the other people because I felt like there were moments in there that were really good, and I liked the creativity of the black and white, and I thought that the skating was good, and the highlights were high. But anyhow, wishing you luck on the next challenge. Read your challenges, okay? All right, so next I want to talk to Mauro. Hey, Mauro. How are you? I am going to give you 4 stars for your number. with Yevon. It was very nice to see you guys on the ice. You did a really good job. It had a really fun feel to it. It was a really interesting choice of music. It was very bluesy, very slanky, swanky type of music. And I thought that the choreography actually fit the music very well, especially with that kind of like, I mean, that music just sort of oozed of like mashup, like you're gonna just be all over each other. So I thought that was really good. It was great because I felt that it was called teasing, so I felt like you guys were definitely teasing each other, and there was a sexual tension there that was kind of nice. And that's always good for on the stage or whatnot. I thought the reason why I gave you 4 stars is that I enjoyed very much your ice coverage. I thought you did a very good job of moving that program around the ice. Some of the problems that other people were having was getting it to be entwined but not moving. So you guys seem to have accomplished that. Some of the highlights in the program for me were I really liked when you grabbed her by the ponytail and you moved her with her hair. I thought it was hairography, so that was really cute. I just thought it was nice because that's exactly what it is, like how connecting to each other at different points. So you connected to her hair, her ponytail. I thought that was cute. And then in contrast to that, then later in the program, I thought it was a cute surprise when she actually grabbed your T-shirt and she pulled you back by your clothing, your T-shirt. So again, it was a great example of a different way of holding on to each other, not a hand hold, not an elbow hold, and it was just a surprise. It was a little bit whimsy, and I thought those were perfect examples of what the challenge was about, was coming up with different ways to connect to your partner. And you guys were really connected too. I thought that was really great. I mean, I really felt the connection between you two. And there was really good teasing going on. I also liked the facial close-up shots that you did, both of you guys. Maro had one in the beginning and Yevon had one at the end, so I thought that was really good. I thought that it was a little bit like at the beginning it got a little bit, it was a little bit slow at the beginning, but then as soon as it started to, around the section where you did the spread eagles towards each other, where you're facing each other, which was really kind of a cool line, the way you guys came around, I thought that part was really good. Of course, I think you saved the best for last. I think the Hydroglide was really a great end to the piece. It totally worked for the end. It was a really difficult move, and it was really cool how Yevon was able to gauge the rate of circle to match your Hydroglide, so I thought that was really good. It was a great connected move. I mean, that move alone probably sold me on the program, so I thought that was really good. I like the way she sort of messed up your hair at the very end, and then, she sort of pushed you off or slapped you. As she pulled you up, she should have kissed you. She needed to pull you up, plant one on you, slap you across the face, and off you go. And that would have been, the finale there. So, don't ever be afraid to go the distance. Although if you were teasing, maybe you wouldn't have kissed her. So, I don't know. Or she wouldn't have kissed you, however it was. So. Anyhow, but good job. 4 stars on that, and keep up the good work, and have fun. Okay, and my last critique is for Anna. Anna, I wanted to let you know that you were my favorite. Congratulations, and I gave you 4.5 stars. I think you did a really, really good job. I think the thing that I liked most about your program is it was really comfortable for me to watch. It rested really easily on my eyes, and I felt like it was just very natural, and just the mood of the program was really sweet. It was really, really nice. I definitely thought it reached the goals of the challenge, Stuck on You. I felt like I loved the way in which in the beginning you rolled around his body, like you never left his side. You were there on him, just rolling your body around him, and then you ended up under his other arm, so that was really cool. And I liked your program for the way it was. There were some really cool transitions out of some moves. It was sort of almost like a little bit of a surprise. Like I'd see you coming up and a move this way, and then the exit of it, ordinarily you would have probably gone around that way, but you intentionally forced a change of direction. You know, you shifted your weight. You made the edges go in the opposite direction, and I saw that. I think that's actually a really nice layer of choreography that people that get it right do it really well, and people that haven't figured that out yet, it's that missing that little bit of layer. So really, really nice surprise there in the way that some of your moves finished up. And as I said, I really felt like you met the challenge. There were some really interesting, connected moments to your partner. I thought that just in particular, the one move where he kicks over your head, it was actually it was really cool for two reasons. One is that normally the girl would be kicking over the guy's head, and I like that you had him kicking over the girl's head. So that was a nice change for me. Those are all little things that, in terms of finding creativity in a new level or a new layer, just, always a little surprise is always nice. But the thing that I liked about it was that it was really simple. You just reached across. You just had your hand, and you were connected to his skating leg while he kicked. And it totally is exactly what the challenge was about. It was about doing some really cool shapes. I mean, he was in this big, kicked leg shape, and you were down in the crouch, and then you just reached over and you grabbed his leg. So I got it. I totally saw it. So good work there, and good thought into it. I like that you were thinking. I felt like the program had really interesting it struck me that this was a program I could see other skaters skating. Like I felt like sometimes as a choreographer we create a piece for somebody else, and it's not, indulgent. It's actually would be great on an ice dance team. And this piece I felt was really skatable for any top ice dance team. Or even a pair team, but I definitely saw it as an ice dance team. And the thing that came to mind was that somebody of the likes of like a Torval and Dean, because one of their specialties was they created choreography and body holds, things that the world of skating had never seen before. And now it's become a little bit more normal, but I remember at the time, like, he invented that little this like way of turning Jane where by the neck, holding her by the neck to turn her. So that hadn't been seen before. So anyhow, in this program, being that it had some interesting and unique handholds, I would have said that it could be an ice dance team that skated it. So that's always a good sign of a good piece of choreography. I liked the section where you were walking in the park, and it was obvious you guys were taking a stroll. I just thought it was really romantic, and it just really fit well with the piece. So it just was a nice moment. It was special. And one thing I love about what you did with your piece was that you bookended the beginning and the end. You had that same section where you sort of like rolled around his back and then went underneath his arm. I always like doing that too. I always like referencing something maybe from the very beginning, because choreography has a beginning, a middle, and an end, and it's a story, and it's all supposed to tie together. So sometimes when you bookend like that, it just sort of it just makes it a nice little package. So you delivered a nice little package today for me. So congratulations, and I wish you all good luck on your future challenges, and I am anxious to see how it turns out.